Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you might be. My screen is a little bit fuzzy, so sorry about that. I'm going to try and clean that up. See if that's a little better. Yeah, there we go. Hey, you guys, good to see you hopping on already. Glad to see you this fine, crazy Thursday morning. I don't know about you guys, but I am feeling like I'm in a continual state of I don't know, crazy. Maybe that's the best word for it. But I'm glad that you guys are here and we have quite a crazy topic of course today because gaslighting and cognitive dissonance, how do they go together really? And how come it feels like they should be going together? I think both make you feel crazy. That's why. Both of them make you feel crazy. And that's why I want to talk about it today because on the one hand, the narcissist is gaslighting, and on the other hand, you're the one feeling the cognitive dissonance. So, what's going on there? And how do you get out of that feeling? How do you get out of the feeling that you're still in crazy town? And also, why, some of you, if you're still in a relationship with a narcissist, why does it feel like you're in crazy town when the narcissist is gaslighting you and you know something's wrong, but you just can't put your finger on it? You just can't pin them down. You can't get them to admit the truth. You can't get them to see what they are doing because they act so natural, right? They can lie straight to your face and not look like anything is wrong, not look like they're uncomfortable with lying straight to you. So you want to believe that and think, how can anyone lie to me so easily? So they must be really telling the truth. So anyway, we go through this crazy dissonance where what we're seeing is not adding up to what we're believing, right? And anyway, we will get into that in just a second. I want to welcome you guys on. John, good morning. And John says already, well, I have another update. Got a text message Sunday morning. She dropped a friend off at the airport and says she wishes she was on the plane as well. Then she said she might fly down in 2 weeks to visit her friend. She asked how far it was from me. I said 4 hours. Why do I have the feeling she's going to show up at my doorstep? John! uh, you have to stop with her. I know it's hard. Maybe that's the thing. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but yeah, as much as you keep going back and forth with her, you may one day find 10 years from now when you're, I don't know how old you are, but whenever it is, when you're at the end of your life, 10, 20, 30 years from now, wherever you might be, and you're going to say, how did I give up so much of my life to this person who just drained it? These are relationship vampires. They're called that for a reason because they don't just take from your relationship with them, they take from your life where you are not able to maintain other relationships with other people because you're you're embedded and smothered in the relationship you're with them, even though she's far away, but she still takes up space in your mind, still takes up space in your day. I'm just letting you know. So I hope that you can let go of her. That's what I'm hoping. Oh, okay, you're 52. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many years this has been going on, that she's been taking up residence in your head. And I know it's hard to let go, but you don't make yourself available to other people or other relationships or even to yourself to work on things that are good for you when you're so focused on her. So anyway, you guys, I just wanted to share that, John. I hope that it's been going on for 8 years. Yeah. So, at some point we have to ask ourselves, are we going to allow it to take another year of my life? So, John, maybe you're not there yet, but I hope you get there soon. So, stick in there, hang in there with us, and hopefully, the good news will be one day that you blocked her and you never hear from her again. And suddenly, this is the beauty, John. Suddenly, when you do that, it's like the sun comes up in your life. It's like you're going to be able to see clearly for the first time in your life. It's like a blind man being able to see again, or being able to see for the first time. You're going to just think, oh my gosh, all of this has been here all this time, and I never saw it. So that's what I'm hoping for you. I'm hoping that you will be able to shut her out, because she does not sound like a healthy person. And here's another thing, John. And this kind of plays in with the dissonance today. Um, I thought you told me that she was married. So she's already involved with someone else right now, and that is extremely unhealthy for you to get involved with someone who's already taken. So consider that also. I know a lot of people won't let go even with that contingency, but it does not work out well if you keep a person around even though they um, oh, I don't even know how to start into that. But even though they are still attached to the person they're with, okay, you do not want to get involved with that. So, anyway, moving on, we're going to get into the topic today. You're welcome, John, and I hope it does help. Jihad, good morning. Good to see you. I hope that you all are doing well today. This is a cold morning for us. We got quite a lot of snow here where I am, and I hope that you guys are all staying warm. It is not a good situation for many people, so we got to keep praying for people who are in a situation where they're not able to um, get warm. It's yeah. I've thought often about moving to some place where you can stay warm without relying on heat. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. But then you have to deal with bugs, I guess. Lots and lots of bugs. I don't know. That's what I hear. So, so it's 80 where you are. Nice, nice. That's really cool. Well, you guys, let's hop into. Actually, let's talk about what our happies and crappies are. John, I heard what your kind of happy and crappy is, I guess. It's mostly crappy, I would think, coming from this crazy person that's in your life. But, um, you know, at the time right now where we are, it's really hard to. I think a lot of people are having a harder time feeling happy. I've noticed that there's not a whole lot of laughter out there, you guys. There's not a whole lot of. I mean, people are trying to move on with their life, and they're doing things each day, but it's sort of like they're living in this alternate reality. They're not really quite moving along because their life is kind of stuck in limbo right now. And I think a lot of people are in that situation right now. Um, so the good news though is that there are ways to bring joy back into your life. And you have to do that every day. I was just talking to a friend yesterday who's going through a pretty stressful time in her life, with some health issues and with some relationship issues. But a thing that occurred to me to ask her was, how often do you laugh? And do you laugh every day? Because I think that part of our problems come from not being able to find joy in our day. And when we get so stressed out, and even though we think that we're, in a Zen moment, we're meditating, we're praying, or whatever it is we think we're, not think, but whatever it is we're doing that we think will help us to calm and to be stable, it doesn't necessarily mean we're bringing joy into our life. It's great that you're able to get to a stable state, but what you need to do each day is bring a little joy into your life. Even through the roughest times, you have to find a way to laugh, and not laughing at others or, in a cruel way in which, later on you start to feel guilty about it. Then you just go down farther and farther. But what I mean is that you find something that's funny that really gives you a good belly laugh. So, and as many of you guys know, I recommend dry bar comedy, and I recommended that to her as well. So, anyway, that is one of the happies and crappies, I guess, that's going on right now in my life and in some of my friends' lives. where they're trying to find the joy in the turmoil that's in their life right now. So if you have to, just unplug from the negativity, unplug from any more doomsday type news, unplug from pessimism, right? You have to unplug. And that includes even TV shows, that are, I am not a horror movie person. Okay. So, because that is super, to me, spiritually evil, right? It's just horrible. And I don't see the point of it. I think people feel more alive when they can feel fear. I don't know. I'm not going to get into all of the psychology of that, but I don't need that to feel alive. And in fact, it kind of programs you to be afraid. So that is a negative thing that's going to happen in your life that will cause negative things to continue to happen in your life if you focus on that. So instead of watching the negative shows where it's about corruption or it's about people hurting other people or it's a horror movie, stay away from all of that negativity. Start putting positivity back into your life. I have another friend who's got family members who are not, they're not moving on with their life, right? They're kind of stagnant, and she doesn't know how to help them. She wants to encourage them and support them and make sure they have a safe place to live and all that, right? But they are not motivated to do something for themselves, and she doesn't know why. She's like, she wants the best for them, but she can't make them do the best for themselves. And I think part of that is because they stay focused on negative things. They don't go and seek the positive things. And what I mean by that is inspirational stuff. The things that motivate me the most is when I start to feel kind of downtrodden and negative about myself and my abilities, and I start to feel like I can't do this, I can't achieve that. I start to watch uh, inspirational speeches. And man, let me tell you, these inspirational speakers make you want to get out and do things. So, in that moment, when you start to listen and you start to feel like oh yeah, I've got this fire burning in my gut, I want to go and start acting on it. So, you guys, that is the happies and crappies for this week that I've been facing. So, a lot of people are stuck in limbo, a lot of people who are stuck down on themselves, a lot of people who right now don't feel motivated, but they're not happy, right? They're not exactly quite happy where they are. They're kind of feeling muffled. They're just there. So you got to break out of that. Well, you guys, I hope that you're having a better time than that, and that you are, but like I'm saying, it depends maybe on the town you're in and what you're doing, but get out and interact with people, get back into social interactions, even with strangers. I know it's been really weird. We're getting programmed now not to even interact with each other when we're out shopping. And I would say break that. Try to break that. Interact with people. Try to talk to them. So, anyway, that is my suggestion. You guys, we're going to hop into the topic today, which is that the narcissist gaslights to keep the supply in cognitive dissonance. Now, cognitive dissonance is actually that uncomfortable feeling that you're feeling when what you're doing or what you're believing contradicts what your values are or what you think that you're wanting to do. I mean, it's a state of contradiction. And so when you're in a state of contradiction, you feel somewhat uncomfortable, and that's your cognitive dissonance that's coming out and telling you something is wrong here. And a lot of times people think, oh, that's my gut, right? But the thing with cognitive dissonance is sometimes instead of trusting and exploring the truth behind why you're feeling uncomfortable, you want to stay in a delusion or in a belief that you've set up for yourself, and you don't want to break it. So how does that fit in with the narcissist? Perfectly, right? It really does. The narcissist, you know you're not comfortable with them. You know something is off. You know that what they say is not what they do. You know that their actions are not showing you what their words are. So you're going to feel uncomfortable. And then when you go to them to try to get clarity, right? You're trying to get the narcissist to clarify what's going on here and admit maybe like, okay, yeah, you're right. You caught me. I cheated on you. But they're going to act as if, no, 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 no. What you're seeing is not true. You're not seeing me accurately. And they're going to keep you in this bizarre delusion that they create. Now, you do have some choices while you're in this state, right, of dissonance. Hey, you guys, I'm going to move this. Maybe that's a little better for the picture. Okay, so you have a few choices when you're feeling this cognitive dissonance come over you. And I want to explain this because part of the cognitive dissonance, depending on how you respond to it, can keep you in delusion, all right? Can keep you held back. It can keep you tied to a life that you don't really want, and it's going to harm you. So you don't want to actually stay there. You want to be truthful with yourself to break out of this. So we're going to go into that in just a second. I want to read first for you something I found. Let me see. Grab my computer here. About cognitive dissonance. All right, let me see. And it was a good, let me see. It says, I'm sorry, let me go up a bit. Because I want to explain a little bit of what cognitive dissonance is. It says, when someone tells a lie and feels uncomfortable about it because he fundamentally sees himself as an honest person, he may be experiencing cognitive dissonance. That is a mental discord related to a contradiction between one thought and another, right? So when you're not consistent in your life, in your thinking, in your beliefs, you're going to feel this discomfort because your mind wants to be consistent, even if you're lying to yourself and telling yourself one thing, but then believing another. And I'll give you a better example. This person also, it's a page, says, here's one. Man who learns that his eating habits raise his risk of illness feels the tension between his preferred behavior, meaning the bad eating habits, right, and the idea that he could be in danger, that his eating habits could destroy him. He might ease this feeling by telling himself that the health warning is exaggerated, or more productively, by deciding to take action to change his behavior. Or, I'm sorry, I'm reading this and he might ease this feeling, okay, by believing more lies, right? By supporting and making excuses for the bad behavior so that he can justify his bad behavior. Or his other reaction could be to change his behavior. And that's our goal today. You want to change your behavior. And John, thank you for sharing your experiences right now, because that right there, you know that she is bad for you, right? You know that she's taking up all of your time. And yet you keep letting her back into your life, right? You almost are encouraging it, or maybe not encouraging, but I guess maybe it is. You're almost hoping that she will come to see you. And part of it is because you want to believe that she's not as bad as you know she is, right? You want to believe that things are not as bad as you know they are. That's the dissonance. And so when you're there, what can you do? You might be telling yourself the negative side, which is you're going to tell yourself, okay, she's not really as bad as I think she is. Things aren't really as bad as I thought they were. And maybe she's gotten better. So these are just, you're trying to justify having her back into your life, right? Having her come back into your life. But then the positive and productive behavior would be to change your behavior. Then would be to say, no, I know that she's bad for me. I know she's already married to someone else, and now she's behind his back trying to get in touch with me and constantly communicating with me. There is absolutely, I mean, I know the consistent thought that your brain wants to make is that she is bad for you. Therefore, stop allowing her to come into your life, right? That would be the consistency that would give you peace. The reason you don't have peace right now is because you're not allowing your actions and your behavior to be consistent with what you know, with what you believe. And so you try to change your belief to fit what you want. So when we do that, we end up hurting ourselves. We change the narrative. And that's why we also feel like we're in Crazytown. That's why we're like, why do I feel like everything is crazy right now? It's because we're not allowing for consistency in our life. And consistency also includes consequences. When we don't allow for consequences to follow in our life, it creates an inconsistency. Like something bad should happen when we do or when we create or when we make bad choices, right? When we make bad choices, something bad, a consequence should happen. But when we make a bad choice, we know it's a bad choice, and then there's no bad consequence, then we sort of start feeling like, oh, we're in this weird limbo state that I feel like I can manipulate what's really bad and what's not. And then but eventually, guess what? The law of gravity will always bring you down. Here's the deal: the truth will always prevail at some point or another. And then, depending how far you've how big of a delusion you've created in your life, the fall could be huge. So be very careful of that. All right, you guys, let me grab, excuse me, I need to get a drink of water. But just wanted to see, wow, we are really slow going today. I wonder where everybody's at. So, hoping that you guys are all doing okay, and maybe some of you guys are, hold on a second. Let me see what's going on here. If I'm affecting some of this. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys because right now a lot of us are going through this bizarre cognitive dissonance, right? We want to believe one thing, but we want to indulge ourselves, right? We're not allowing the consistent thought to continue through. We're and some of it's not even our fault. Some of it is because of what is going on out there right now. The information we're being fed right now is very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. It doesn't make any sense. You guys, I want to even bring this up. I know it might not be favorable to you right now, but here's the deal. I'm seeing people getting freaked out about wearing a mask, right? Like they feel like they have to, and they're so scared, and they're just afraid of catching you know what. But I'm not going to mention it because if I do, I don't know. It's like you're not allowed to discuss this. So they feel like they could be hurt, right? But then it doesn't make sense that there are policies being pushed through that creates more spread, right? In that, so the same people who are telling you to wear the mask and be very, very, very afraid are then creating immigrant, if you want, policy, uh, where it doesn't even make sense that during a time like this, when the economy is, we are stretched, we are crashing, and yet they want to send money overseas. You're like, well, what about here, right? Why are you taking care of other countries when this country is failing? So that is a dissonance. That's why we're feeling like, what the heck is going on? why is this happening? But we want, some of us want to believe and continue to trust these people who've been telling us things that we want to hear all along. So we're like, okay, it doesn't make sense what they're saying, but they said other things that I really liked before. So I'm going to keep believing this person or these people. And you have to be so careful of that. This is where it is critical for you to start thinking. It really is thinking for yourself, not allowing your feelings to get in the way of you finding the truth. And when you're with a narcissist, we go through the same thing. Our feelings tell us this person is someone I love. This person is someone I trust. This person is someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. But the truth is, this person is destroying you. This person is using you. This person is lying to you. Yes, I agree, lady. Who's this? Lady March. Thank you. Yeah, we're going through this right now, this cognitive dissonance, because and I think that's why I think so many people right now are feeling like they're in freaking Crazytown, because you're being told one thing and the actions are another. You're being told, we care about you. We want to send you money. We want to take care of you guys. And then they're sending our money somewhere else. You're like, wait, what? What the heck? And you're being told, oh, we hate greedy, capitalists, this and that. I don't know how to get into that, but we hate people who are only focused on money. And yet they're giving money to the people who are only focused on money. You're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're not taking care. So it's you're being gaslit. You're being gaslit. I'm being gaslit. That's why it bothers me. And then the sad thing, though, is that you have a bunch of people out there who believe these lies, and they want to believe these lies. And here's the deal. Let's not fight each other, because that's exactly what they want. They want us to hate each other and fight each other. But these are people who are going through gaslighting. And when you had gone through gaslighting and you believed the gaslighter, the narcissist, you believed the criminal that was in your life, that was using you, there was nothing that anybody could have told you that to wake you up. There was nothing they could have shown you. No truth, no evidence, no nothing. I mean, the narc's mistress could have called you and said, hey, he was over at my house last night. And you wouldn't believe it, because you want to believe what your feelings, you want to protect your feelings. You want to protect how you felt before. And I think a lot of people are going through that right now. And it sort of like becomes a part of their identity. Their feelings become a part of their identity. So if they feel like they're in love with this person and someone tells them, well, that love isn't real, then they feel like they don't know what their identity is. And that's why they resist so much. And I'm not quite sure what the answer is, other than to try and get them to connect the dots, right? Try and show the contradiction. Like, okay, you believe this, right? Yes, I do. Okay, then why is that happening? Right? And they might explain it away, and they might give justification for it, or they might say, oh, it was debunked. I hate that word so much now. It's like, okay, by whom? By whom was it debunked? I was talking to another person last night who believed a certain lie that's being spread right now. And it has to do with the pharmaceuticals. So here's the deal. So they're being told something is extremely safe and no cause for concern whatsoever, and you're saving the world if you take this, right? And yet these are the same people that have been lying to us for decades about everything. And these are the people who've been raising the prices on things. And these are the people who just reversed the price of certain medications that are life saving to people. And these are the people who actually lie to us about certain treatments that would have been okay. But now we're going to believe these people? So here's the deal: when you want to believe someone so badly, you will create a state of cognitive dissonance when it turns out that they have been lying to you, because you don't want to believe that you've been fooled. You don't want to believe that you've trusted someone who's horrible. You don't. Oh, I have another example for you guys. There is I have another friend of mine, and I think I mentioned this before too. We were having lunch, and she's elderly. She's in her mid 70s, and so I'm talking to her, and I know her husband also. So I noticed that the two of them, though, have different awareness of what's going on out there. Like he has, um, I don't want to give it away, but he believes that like things aren't as bad as we think they are, right? So his wife and I, she seems to be pretty awake to what's going on, like who's lying and who's telling the truth, and there's something definitely very, very wrong out there. Whereas he's like, no, 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 it's not as bad as we think. Things are fine. People aren't as bad as they appear to be. Okay, so I asked her, I was like, how is it that you two, having been married for like 50 years, how is it that you two have such differing perspectives? And it took her a moment, and she was thinking about it, like, yeah, what is it? And then she said this about her husband. She said, I think it's because he doesn't believe that people could be that evil. He doesn't believe that people could be that bad or conniving or manipulative. So it's sort of a naivety, right? Naivety that he wants to believe in humanity. He wants to trust the government. He wants to trust the people that he has trusted in office for decades, right? He doesn't want to believe that he voted for people who could be lying to him. So she says that's what's going on. That's the dissonance that's happening with him. He can see that, I know, right? Vibrant spirit says that, yeah. But here's the deal: a lot of people are naive. Even you and I had been naive at some point, right? If we have dealt with a narcissist in our life and we let them get away with all kinds of bad treatment towards us because we wanted to believe they didn't mean it, and we made excuses for them so that it would justify how they treated us, we were just as naive because we didn't want to believe that someone that we love could treat us that way, right? Someone that we care so much about could lie to us right to our faces. Someone that we thought that we were going to spend the rest of our lives with. Not that that happened with me, but I know that a lot of people who've been in these relationships with a narcissist, they feel like their whole identity disappears with the narcissist. So they fight tooth and nail to keep the illusion alive. They try to justify the narcissist's behavior, even to their friends and family who love them and are trying to warn them, right? They'll say, no, 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 he had to be like that, or she had to be like that with me. This person had to treat me badly because, it was my fault. I did this. And we tend to make excuses for the person or the people or the politician that we trusted for many, many years. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Vibrant Spirit says, yeah, I was blind, but now I see. When the blinders come off, they're off. It's so true, right? This is why I want to talk about this topic so badly, because when you're stuck in cognitive dissonance, you're going to feel always like you're in crazy town. Crazy town will not leave your purview, will not leave your life, because you're allowing for this contradiction to continue to exist in your life. You know what's bad, but you keep telling you or yourself it's good. You know what the truth is, but you want to believe the lie. because it's comforting, right? So you don't, when you do that, you're going to wake up very uncomfortable. You're going to feel a lot of anxiety, and you're going to wonder, like, why am I feeling all this anxiety? Why am I feeling so nervous? Why am I feeling so on edge all the time when I feel like I love this person and it's okay? I've accepted that it's okay that they treat me like this, and I want to keep being a good person by loving them. So I'm doing all the right things. So why am I feeling this huge anxiety? It's because in your head, your mind knows that there is a disconnect here, that there is a contradiction here, and you have to deal with it. Because if you don't, you're going to drive yourself absolutely, absolutely crazy. Well, you guys, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Me too, Lady Marks. Yeah. So here's the deal. We are getting a lot of misinformation, disinformation. Um, yeah, the word equity, question everything. At this point, you know, and I know that when a narcissist speaks, what's the little saying? It says, how do you know a narcissist is lying to you? Their lips are moving. So essentially, whenever these people who've lied to you in the past and they're speaking to you now, pretty much, entertain the idea in your head that whatever they're saying right now, say the opposite. So if they're saying to you, I'm not lying to you, imagine them saying, I'm lying to you. If they're saying, I care so much about these issues, about oppression, imagine them saying, I don't care at all about oppression. And actually, this is what's happening. And people are going through freaking cognitive dissonance on a grand, massive scale right now, if they are even listening. Because there's this other bizarre section of the public. I won't go into that. But actually, I can go into it a little bit. But they are keeping the dissonance alive. They want to keep lying to you to make you feel like you need to believe the lie because the lie is the truth. Okay, that's another craziness. And by the way, in Australia, I don't know, I will suggest this to you guys. Follow what the heck's going on in Australia because recently, I think it was a few days ago, that I can't even, I mean, this is so disgusting and horrible, but we're being censored all over the place here in the US. So I don't even know if I can say this, but some big tech companies were shutting down Australia. Yeah, Australia. They would not allow news to spread. Whether, I mean, it didn't even matter what kind of news it was. And they even shut down government offices because they thought they were news agencies. So they did not want the public in Australia to get domestic news or international news. It is absolutely insane, you guys. So these companies are that control the information, and this is a saying, I don't even know how to call it, but it's some saying that goes like this: He who controls the information controls the world, and they know it. So here they are in Australia. They refuse to allow the Australians to even communicate stories with each other. They couldn't share news stories. They couldn't find out news stories. They couldn't even find out what's going on internationally. They were being blockaded by big tech. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And in a way, I kind of feel like that is a good thing, but it's not. It really isn't. What they were trying to do there is trying to keep people from being informed. Now, there are a lot of lies out there, sadly. It is such a huge mess right now. I don't even know where to begin with this, but it is such a huge mess out there right now that people don't know what to believe. They don't know what's the truth anymore, because it seems like so many people are doing things that are contradictory to what you thought would be the right thing to do, right? And contradictory to what they told you they were going to do. So you have to look a little deeper. You have to go the extra mile and find more to the story. Don't believe anything at all on the surface. Nothing. You have to dig a little deeper. And the cool thing is, by the way, you guys, is this there is such a thing as cognitive consonance, which is actually things that make sense. Like it's consistent. It's the truth is a truth and the lies are lies. And you can reach that point if you follow the story long enough to dismantle and to educate yourself and do the research and find out. Same thing when you're dealing with a narcissist. When they're lying to your face, you can believe them or you can check out their lie. If they said, "Oh, well, I was at, so and so's house, my buddy's house last night," well, guess what? You can find out if they were. Call them. Call his buddy. See if he was there. I mean, I hate to have that kind of relationship, but when you get to the point where you know this person is untrustworthy, this person has lied to you over and over again, this person expects you to trust them, whether, with no question, I'm sorry, but they lost that privilege when they started lying to you. So now you can check. You can believe them or you can just go and check. So go and check. Um, Another thing is you really can investigate a little further. You can find out more and more about the narcissist. If the narcissist is telling you that they have, oh gosh, a big one of their favorite lies is how rich they are, right? How financially secure they are. So they're going to tell you how much money they have stocked away, but they just can't get to it right now. Well, there's a way to find out. Like find out, well, who's holding all your money? What's going on? Like ask questions. Find out what's going on. And then the biggest red flag, by the way, and I had another friend who, this bothers me, you guys, that I have this reaction. But someone she's never met before contacted her through, I'm not sure if it's Facebook, might have been, but he's from another country. And I won't talk about which continent, but from another country. And she feels encouraged because he's sharing her religious beliefs, right? So he's telling her, "Wow, that video you sent me was so amazing," and this and that. I'm like, okay, but who the heck is this person that she's never met before, who's suddenly like dribbling all over her, right? I start to wonder. And of course, she's like, "Oh no, there's nothing, it's not like there's any interest or anything like that." Like, oh yeah. First thing that came to my mind to tell her is, if he asks you for money, don't give it to him. And of course, she wants to immediately say, "Oh, no, no, no. He's not doing well financially, but, he hasn't asked me for money. Even though I know he's not doing well financially, he has not asked me for money." Well, here's the deal. These manipulators, these scammers, they go out fishing, right? That's what it's called. They go out fishing for elderly people or people who are not married, and they try to build a relationship with them, right? And you don't think you're building a relationship with them because they're on another continent, for crying out loud, right? So you feel pretty secure. Well, they're way over there. I'm over here. Well, then when they start to pull you in by telling you, "Wow, your insight is incredible, and what you've been sending me is so amazing, and this is so touching, and this made me cry," or now they're starting to connect with you emotionally, right? You start to feel like, "Wow, we have these wonderful conversations, and no man has talked to me like this before and connected with me like this before." And you're not even thinking romantically, maybe, right? You're just thinking, it's so nice to have this kind of attention. Someone really wants to hear my opinion. Someone really values what I've given them and what I'm showing them. And then once they get in emotionally, build that emotional connection, then they also introduce their state of affairs, their sob story, right? Things that are going on in their life that are just terrible, and or they try to make it sound like, "I've worked hard all of my life, and right now I'm taking care of my parents, and I'm taking care of my sister's kids, and I'm taking," they act like such a hero to you. You're like, wow, and they have so little and they're doing so much. And then before you know it, they're going to be like, I don't know how much longer I can get on here and talk with you because, something terrible just happened in my town, and there was a big accident, and now I have this huge financial burden because my relative or parent or somebody, right? My niece uh, got into this accident, and now I have to figure a way how to pay for her surgery. Okay, you guys, this is how it's going to play out. And I feel like be so ever careful connecting with somebody who's on a different continent and who starts to connect with you emotionally. Ask yourself, how much do I really know this person? Do I know this person is who they are? I mean, how many times have we seen these? Actually, it hasn't come out very much lately. I don't know if you noticed this, but remember, we used to be seeing these crime stories pretty often, all these stings of how do you, I'm trying to think of officers posing as like 12-year-old children on the internet and catching the criminals, right? We've seen stories of this. And then, of course, because a lot of times we've also seen these crime stories where these 10, not 10 maybe, but 12, 13, 14-year olds will go to meet somebody and think, oh, well, we've been talking all this time on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever it is. Well, the picture that they put up there is not them. It's just a picture from somebody else. And and they think they're going to go meet this other person who's 12, 12, 13, 14 years old just like them, or maybe even 15, 16 years old, just like, close to their age. And it turns out it's some 40-year-old man. Holy crap, right? So be careful who you believe on the internet. Just even if they seem so cool, even if they seem so nice, great. But you don't really know them because you've never actually met them, their family, anything about them. And that is the danger today with all this social distancing and stuff. Everybody's craving relationship. So they will take it however they can. So if they're getting on the internet and trying to connect with people that they don't even know if this person really lives where they say they live, right? They don't. And here's the deal, the criminals have upped their game. They have gotten to the point where they will even FaceTime you. They will Zoom with you. They will put their face on a video and talk to you so you think, "Oh, this is a real person I'm talking to." But they're going to play you and it's not going to make sense. Oh, I was watching this news story about, I want to say probably a year and a half ago now. And it was this woman who was in her 50s. I think she was in her 50s, maybe 60s. She was retired. And she had her house paid off and she had a savings, right, account and drawing retirement. So this guy who is in his 20s contacts her from, I can't remember, it was like Nigeria or Ghana or something like that. And it gets to the point, so there, at first it's just them talking because he came across her photo and he just thought she had such kind eyes. And she's like, oh, that's so nice, and so innocently she thought this guy was just being a nice guy. So she starts up this talking, conversation with him, this relationship. And then it becomes even phone calls. He starts calling her. So they have lengthy phone calls where he's like totally schmoozing her, laughing at her jokes and whatever, right? And then it gets to the point where they even do, I think, some video calls. And it never occurs to her, what the heck is a 20-something-year-old guy in Nigeria? Why is he interested in some woman in Nebraska or wherever the heck she was in the United States, who is more than the age to be his mother, and she's no, beauty, and yet and then he starts telling her how much in love he is with her, in love with her. You guys, narcissists can lie to you to your face, and criminals, and at this point I'm just calling them psychopaths. There are psychopaths out there who have no conscience, no conscience, and will rob you blind. So this guy ends up asking her for money, of course, and of course she sends it to him, and she still believes that he loves her because he's still connected to her. And I remember this news story is so bizarre. The most bizarre thing is that the reporter actually went looking for this guy in Nigeria. I want to say Nigeria because I think it was, though. It was either there or Ghana. I can't remember, you guys. But I'm pretty sure it was Nigeria. So the reporter goes looking for him in his country. And it takes her a long time, and finally she finds the guy. She goes to his village, and kid you not, he lives in some weird goat herd village. Um, and she talks to him, interviews him, and says, "So you've been talking to Margaret over here in the United States." I don't know. I can't remember if that was her real name. But, and, he goes, "Oh, yes, I love Margaret." And they're like, "Well, this has a lot of us confused because you're a healthy, young, 20 something year old man here. Why are you interested in Margaret?" And he totally still plays it up for the camera. But the weird thing is, when you were watching him, you could see like this guy is totally lying, totally lying. But here's the deal: by the end of the filming and all that, I think it came out that the two of them stopped communicating. Now, it wasn't before, sadly, that Margaret sent a few $1,000s to him, but at least she didn't send her whole life savings to him. And I'd seen story upon story upon story where people had lost $200,000. I think the worst that I had seen was $1 million. Like this woman lost $1 million. And it's not just women, by the way, because one of the worst stories I had heard were against, from men who were so in love with this person on the internet and convinced that they exist, only come to find out that, yeah, that person's picture is of a real person, but the person posing behind the picture was not them, right? Anyway, this other guy, he lost something like $500,000. It was devastating. He lost everything. The woman who lost $1 million, she took out a second mortgage. She took out a mortgage on her home. Then she took out a second mortgage. I mean, not only did she lose everything, she was in incredible debt after she was already retired or close to being retired. So now she's starting all over again, but in tremendous debt because of these psychopaths that have no conscience, who can lie to your face, and you want so badly to believe it that you will make excuses for when things don't add up, when things seem, what they say is contradicting what you've heard already or what you already know about them, right? They may have started off with, yeah, so my brothers and I, blah, blah, blah. And then later on, they're like, "Oh, no, 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 I don't have any siblings." You're like, "No, wait a minute. I know you told me about your brothers, and now you're saying you have no siblings." Things like that. And then you start to wonder, like, wait a minute, did I mishear that? Was I dreaming when they told me that? So that's the cognitive dissonance that starts to happen, where you want to believe them, but everything's pointing to the fact that they are lying to you. So, you guys, that is, I don't know, I kind of got into all these lies and what's going on out there. That's just absolute crazy town. Yeah. I want to check here and see what you guys have been saying. Angel, good to see you, says they want you to be loyal, but you don't deserve any loyalty from them. Exactly. And tree barking dog. Sorry, somebody just walked by. Good to see you, says wonderful channel, so needed, timely, and a kindness. Thank you for sharing all you have. Aw, thank you. I appreciate you. Vibrant Spirit says Narcs and toxic people breathe lies. Yes, they do. You guys, you know what? There's a book that I read a couple of years ago, and it's called Without Conscience. It was written by a PhD psychologist who did most of his studies, or his initial studies for his PhD at prisons. And so the book goes into a lot of details about what he encountered at the prisons. But it's called Without Conscience, and it's about psychopaths. And essentially, he says that in the prisons, it's something like, I can't remember if I remember this, if this is accurate, but something like 80% to 90% of the prison population are psychopaths. And but outside in the public, here with us, he still would say that 10% were psychopaths, meaning without conscience. Now, there are some people who have a conscience and they may act narcissistically and they may be arrogant and they may even cheat and steal some, but they have a conscience, right? That they have this cognitive dissonance that occurs inside of them because when they tell a lie, they actually feel bad. So they might alter and change their behavior. Now, that's not part of the 10% that he calls psychopaths. Psychopaths are the ones that have zero conscience. None. They don't care how much they take from you. They don't care how much they hurt you. They don't care even who they hurt, right? It could be a little kid. They have no conscience. It could be a disabled person. They have no conscience. They don't care because they don't see people as people. So, you guys, when we are dealing with a psychopath, you cannot portray or assume, how do I put this? You cannot assume that they have a heart, right? You cannot assume that they have a conscience just because they're there. Because 10% of the people out there, if there's 10% out there, I'm just like, what the heck? Maybe they're more concentrated in cities, okay? So maybe in cities it's 20%, in other places it's only 5%, kind of evens it out or something. But I wonder if nowadays it's far more than when he wrote that book, right? That it's far more than just 10% out there. And this is what I'm wondering, because how much of it is cognitive dissonance and people wanting to believe what they want to believe, so they'll try to justify the lies that are being told to them. And so you feel like you're being pulled into this crazy town with them because they refuse to look at the truth and they refuse to admit the truth because they want so badly to continue to believe the people they've believed for so long. Now, how much of it is that, and how much of it are people who seem like not only do they just believe the lies that are being told to them and maybe delusional, they are actually angry and forcing you and vicious, about making you believe what they believe. So to me, it starts to border on psychopathy when people become that controlling, when people then take away your humanity because you don't believe what they believe. So now you're no longer a person to them. You're the enemy, or you're somehow a character. So now we're dealing with people who are taking on the behavior and characteristic of a psychopath because they have dehumanized other people around them. They don't even see people as people anymore. And that is how psychopaths behave. When someone is so brainwashed, they can behave like a psychopath. If you're so brainwashed that you become incredibly hateful, that you want to destroy whoever's standing in your way, that you believe is your enemy, without actually interacting with them, because just automatically you think that they don't deserve to be alive. I'm like, what the heck? That is a wrong road to go down. If you ever feel that way, check yourself and go, okay, I got to back off because this cannot be right. This cannot be good. So, you guys, when we are looking around and people are behaving this way, the way to deal with a psychopath like that is not necessarily to confront them. Yes, ask them questions, like I was saying before. Ask them, okay, so do you believe this? Then why do you do that? Without yelling at them, without getting into their face and all that. Just a question. And let them mull that over. Let them go through a bit of discomfort, that cognitive dissonance. They're going to have to check themselves. They're going to have to go, yeah, wait a minute. How do I how do I make that work? How do I explain this to myself? And maybe not in front of you, but maybe later on in the day, they might go home and think about it. And hopefully that'll wake them up. And that is the only way we can wake somebody up and shake them out of this bizarre, and I hate to call it that, but it's like they're in this psychopathic trance. So be careful out there. Don't, I know you want to be brave, you want to be bold, you want to show people the truth. Be careful how you do it, because if you're coming at them in a fighting stance, they're going to come back at you in a fighting stance. I've been watching some videos on that where people are trying to spread love, trying to spread positivity, but they just were not quite prepared. They were not prepared for the attacks they were going to get. And when they were attacked, their response was to defend. Their response was to push back some. They didn't push back as much as those who were attacking them, but because they pushed back some, now they look like the bad guy. So I'm sorry to you guys that I'm even getting into all of this, but I guess because I've been watching these things unfold in front of our eyes, I want to try to give you guys an idea of what's the best way to go forward. If you're the one who's like, something's going on and it doesn't make sense and I have to question this and I want to believe this, but then I'm also seeing these other things. Do a little investigation. Start researching a few things for yourself. You're going to see a lot of lies out there. You're going to see a lot of people trying to justify and excuse things and, explain things away. But keep digging until you get onto solid ground, until you get to the core. All right? So keep doing that. If there are some of you guys out there who are like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm surrounded by psychos, you have to find a way to bring normalcy back into your life. You need to find a way not just to stabilize, but actually bring a little joy into your life. I know this sounds weird right now, but I mentioned this at the beginning. You want to bring joy into your life because that stabilizes you more. That it brings a positivity into your life, a light into your life. So watching dry bar comedy, taking a break from the negativity, turn everything off for a day. And, the world's not going to fall apart just because you're not looking. And if something is about to fall apart, you're going to find out. Like you're going to notice. So take a day, take a break, and bring comedy back into your life until you get that belly from the gut laugh. And you need to do that some every day. Anyway, so you guys, our hour is up. And I hope that some of this has made sense to you. I know I've been kind of going into different directions because there were so many stories out there to share. But hopefully that has helped you to see that you are sane, okay? You guys are doing great. You guys have noticed like there is something wrong here. So that is a good place to be. Don't be in the, oh, there's absolutely nothing wrong and I hate all these people and no. Don't go there. Don't be like that. Don't join the psychopath train. It's crazy out there. You have to bring sanity into the conversation. Just ask questions. Just go, if that's true, then how come this is happening? If they want to help by doing that, why are they doing this instead? Just ask that. Ask those questions. So, and watch real things. I've always told people, watch the actual speech. Watch the actual, what's another one? Hearing. Watch the actual video of what happened. Not someone's edited version of it. Not some news organizations or talk show host or other person's rendition of it that they're going to just chop up and then show you a little clip of. No, watch the whole thing in its entirety. So this is why I've said it before, because once you do that, and then these organizations come around and they tell you and they twist it and they're like, oh, look at this, they said that. And you're like, whoa, no, that's out of context. That is not what was said. I mean, they may have used those words, but it was preceded by these other words that makes a complete different meaning once it's in context. So this is why it's really important for you to pay attention to those things. Okay, you guys? So when you can, watch the actual real coverage, the real event. Don't just watch clips of events. Don't just watch someone's edited version of events. Don't just watch someone's narration of an event. Watch it. Oh my gosh, sometimes I watch this live cam. Yeah, there's this thing called live cam. And it's interesting because, you hear about how things are open and everybody's doing this and everything's going well. You're watching these live cams of different cities and you're like, it's like a ghost town. Nothing's happening there. So it's weird. And they're acting as if life is back to normal somehow, but it's not. So anyway, you guys, that's where I am. Try to pay attention to reality. Well, you guys, Dad, it's good to see you. He says they are living the lie. Yeah. Vibrant says, have a good day. Rest of the day, you guys. Marilyn Monroe, good to see you. Says, remember, salt and sugar look alike. Yes. Oh, actually, that's in one of my videos. Yeah. Angel, good to see you. Says, I paid for his cat vet and he gave the cat. He gave the cat away. Yeah. Yep. Red flags. Well, you guys, I really appreciate you hopping on. Thank you so much. Sorry if I didn't get to your comments and review all of them or read all of them, but I appreciate your interaction. I appreciate you being here. Let's keep each other sane and bring truth to this channel. This is what I want. And kindness, okay? We're not here to fight each other, even if we're in different stages, all right? We're not here to condemn anybody. We're not here to force our views on anybody. We're here to have a conversation. So blessings to you. And if you want to subscribe or share this channel or make comments or give me a thumbs up, that would really help. And also watch a commercial once in a while. I really appreciate that. So thank you all, and I will see you next week.